What is expected of you the moment you walk in a room? What do you want people to expect from you? What do you want people to go, oh man, Eric's in the room. Cool. I know some people that I work with, the moment they walk in a room, I know that they're going to be long-winded and add no value. There's a brand. I know some people, the moment they make a promise, I know they're not going to keep it because they make promises they can't keep. I know people, this moment they walk in a room, I better have my financial numbers on point and accurate because they are going to they have a sharp pencil and they're going to hold me to task on that. I know some of the leaders I work with, the moment they walk in a room, I better have my diversity, equity, inclusion language on point because she's watching everything that I say. And that's a brand. Like they walk in, I'm like, I'm straightening up, right? A lot of people laugh. They say, well, they say, Renee's in the audience. Oh my God, he's going to count my ums and ahs and see where my body language is, which by the way, I don't. I only do that if you pay me to do that. I don't like giving unsolicited advice. Nobody likes to be critiqued if you haven't been asked to do that. So Eric, when you think about that piece, and this is something I just wanted to use because you were a guy on this, I want you to think about, and this is for all of you, and you can let Eric go back off here for a minute. I want you to think about what is that promise that you're making, because what is that piece that you want people to feel about you? And then what promise can you offer them? And then the tough question is what promise have I already been making that maybe doesn't fit what I want? I used to hate LinkedIn endorsements. You ever seen the LinkedIn endorsements and how worthless that was? I was endorsed to be in strategic planning. And I'm like, yeah, I do strategic planning, but that's like the last thing that I want to be known for. Why am I known for this? I'm like, this is stupid. And I realized, I'm like, oh, shoot. That's how people perceive me. That might be an indication of where my brand is. So I had to shift that. And so for me, when I chose, yes, I do sales training. I put myself against some of the best sales trainers in the world. I do strategic planning. We do change management. I do all sorts of leadership development. But I decided to focus on one word, which was influence. Because to me, that was the core piece. And for me to be able to say, I'm going to just focus on this core element. I want people to know if René is around, it's going to be well thought out and backed by research and proven in the world. This is applicable knowledge. That's what I want to be known as. I don't want to be known as what we call a what speaker. There's a lot of what we call what speaker. Here's what you got to do. You got to stand up tall. You got to stop being mediocre. You got to get up there and grind all day. And then you're listening to that and the person's screaming on stage and he's a multimillionaire or she's done this and you're going, wow, I got to stop being mediocre. And you write that note, stop being mediocre, and you're happy and you get home, all that emotion is worn off and the next day's happening and clients are calling and life's back to where it was and you go, where are my notes? Stop being mediocre. What the hell does that mean? How do I stop doing that? Am I mediocre now? What good is that advice at that moment? That's what we call the what speaker. And by the way, what speakers get a lot of great ratings because you get them right in the moment and they're loud and they scream and they have great PowerPoints and they have production and they got millions of followers and it must be good what they're saying. So they say the what is free, the how is fee, is what they all say. Saying, okay, well, that makes sense. You got to charge for it. I don't know. I think it's the what is free. I'll give you enough. I'm going to give you a lot of how here with no fee. Well, GoGo sort of paid for it by coming here and as a favor back. But I also want to I want to have enough how that even if I give you a ton of how, there's still more to come get. That's how I look at it. And in today's world where everything's available, I want to give my how away. I want to give it away as much as possible. Because if you go to my social media, I put a video a day, all how to do something in detail. People, they don't want to come to my course. You don't want to buy my book. It's $20. Okay, go to my podcast. It's free. My podcast, they say, is even more valuable than my book. Darn it. Or good. Depends on how we look at it, right? And so I want to do one example of how this works, but I need a volunteer. Before you volunteer, I want to give you the criteria. I want somebody who doesn't feel like they have much of a story. Somebody who is lost in terms of how do I communicate who I am to the world, even in my business. Somebody that maybe is a little bit scared of coming on stage. I don't want somebody who's super comfortable and loves being up here and has done this before. Let's leave room for somebody that wants to really push themselves for a minute. And if you're that person and you got to allow me to coach you real time, I want you to hit the raise your hand button on the bottom middle of the screen. And the first person I get, you get to come up with me. And then whoever the team is, whoever that raises their hand, can you just add them to Spotlight so they'll be next to me here.